everyone, welcome back to our YouTube channel. It is Ella here, and this is another episode of season 2 of the Humanitarians of Africa series. On this series, I have been sharing the amazing stories of humanitarians of Africa, people doing great work in the non-profit sector in Africa. Today, I have Funmi, the founder of Carehub Foundation that is based off of Nigeria, and she's here to share her amazing story of Carehub and also her own story with us. Thank you so much, Funmi, for joining me on this episode. It's nice to have you.
Thank you. Thank you, Ella.
Yeah, so Funmi and I have been planning and going back and forth and trying to get her on this session, and it's been a hurdle, but I'm so excited that we are finally here, and I'm
Yes.
to hear the whole story behind Carehub. Just a background story. I've been working somehow behind the scenes and engaging with some members of the team at Carehub, and really Carehub is an amazing foundation, and I don't want to have to blow their trumpet. The founder is here. Let the horse do justice. So Funmi, it's nice to meet you again.
Thank you, Ella.
Introduce yourself to us. Who is Funmi? What does she do? And anything you think we should know about you.
Okay, my name is Csr Funmilayo, as earlier said, and I'm the chief strategist, founder of Carehub Foundation. Surprisingly, I have a couple of other things I do. Number one, I'm a social impact innovator. Number two, I am a serial entrepreneur. Like, I do a couple of things. I plan events for people. I run a foodstuff contribution scheme. That's two. Then I sell fabrics also. But my main focus is more of purpose-driven kind of social impact. My main focus is social impact. So people around me, my friends, my families, people I get to meet, anywhere I find myself, you could just see it all over me that I'm more of a volunteer. You understand? Like, I do more of the social work. I like social service jobs, social service work. Like, so that is just me, basically.
Wonderful. I think we need to talk outside of the camera about your food contribution. Okay, so moving on, let's talk about Carehub Foundation. What's the story behind Carehub Foundation? What prompted you to start, and what exactly do you do at Carehub Foundation?
Okay, so like when I get questions like this, I know there was a time I was on Nigerian Info, and Sam Oracle asked me a question. It was like, how come? Why do you start an NGO? Like, and I was like, the NGO speaks. No, Carehub was actually founded in 2018, but I've been a social impact innovator for a long time, right from when I was in university. I did like, I read economics education. So, you know, they post us to schools for teaching practice. So the schools I went to for teaching practice, in fact, that's where the work started really. Because the first school they posted us to, I was able to do like a little social service with the children, like, you know, in terms of psychosocial support kind of programs for them. Then also, I went to Reading Crescent Fellowship. I was their welfare coordinator. Do you understand? So the social space has just been me all this while. But for Carehub Foundation, I link it up to, I always link Carehub Foundation to my mentor, Mr. Patrick Oduma, which I want you, Ella, one of these days to interview too. He's also a social impact innovator.
I will be happy to.
Okay, so he runs an NGO, he runs an organization or an NGO called Advancers Initiative. So that NGO basically is, you know, redefining standard of people's mindsets, like reversal kind of thinking. So there was a particular day that program holds like the first Saturday of every new month. So it talks more on value creation. It talks more on impact. That's what his program is basically all about. Majority of the time it speaks every first Saturday of the new month. So this particular Saturday, he asks people, okay, what is your job and what's your work? So, you know, there's a difference between your job and your work.
Your work,
you understand? So when he asked the question, a particular guy stood up and the guy said, I'm a fashion designer, blah, blah, blah. And, you know, so it was like, a fashion designer. So what do you do for humanity? Do you just sew clothes for people for money's sake? So what's the extra you do? And my mentor was like, you could sew uniforms for school children, you could sew Christmas clothes for them. I tell people that they were giving another person the idea. It was Funmilayo that was picking up the vision. So immediately that happened, I was like, wow. Do you know, because I stay in town, like when they call town in Port Harcourt, like really, it's not like it's a remote, it's not really a remote community, but you know, you see a lot of less privileged children around that region. So whenever I go to work, I get to see kids return uniforms, you know, some of them with no socks, some of them with no sandals, they are going to school. So when my mentor said that, and I was like, this is what I can do. I've been doing things like this right from time. Like I take clothes from my colleagues and I look for people that need those clothes and give it to them. So I was like, I've been doing this stuff, so why can't I just do this uniform kind of project? So immediately I reached out to my colleagues that came for the program that day. I was like, I'm going to clothe 100 children with 100 new school uniform for free. They were like, Fumi, just all of a sudden. I said, yes, I'm starting it. And I always give reference to my mom too, because by the time I go back home and I told my mom, I told her that, mommy, see, this is what I want to do. I want to give free uniforms to school children. She was like, why? I said, yes, I need to do it. If I explained to her and all that, she was like, oh, that's pretty cool. I'm going to support you. I'll be your first donor. I'll be your first donor. Please give me your account number, because I'm not registered the NGO. So immediately I gave her my account number and she paid in. She was my first donor, And I reached out to majority of my friends, my colleagues. My first set of volunteers were my colleagues.
Wow.
My colleagues were my colleagues. The people that came extra, people like Antonio, Mr. Prince, were more like they saw it online. No, okay, Antonio was attending that program I attend. That's from my mentor. Yeah. So he saw it like online. We're like, oh, for me, I want to volunteer for this particular program. And that's it. That's how we started. So, but you know that when you start something and with time, the vision became bigger. Is educational sector. And we know that in Nigeria, the educational sector is not really giving that attention that it should be given. We have a lot of lapses in the educational sector, especially for public schools. And over time, after giving the school uniform, you know, when you go to the school, you give school uniforms and you realize that, oh my God, there are so many problems in this school. Like you hear people saying that, oh, I won't be able to come to school again because I can't afford it. You know, things like that. Then, you know, you also do like a need assessment, or you do like a review based on the projects you just executed. And that's why Carehub, and you know, after the school uniform project, we now decided to register it as Carehub Foundation. And we are focused on education. Like we go into remote communities, we look for children that are out of school, we enroll them back to school, we provide school uniform, we provide writing materials, school books. So we went further. Like when we started fully in 2019, 2018, we did more of school uniforms. 2019, we started giving them educational materials. We started giving them like textbooks, notebooks. Then we went further to say, okay, when you go to this community, you see some children at their home when their mates are in school. We did our further research. We realized that, oh, these children, they cannot afford it. Most of their caregivers, most of these kids, they're staying with their aunties, their uncles, and even the ones that stay with their parents. Maybe the parents are not financially buoyant to send them back to school. So we start with that. Okay, we start identifying the children and enroll them back to school. But our first pickup for enrollment was one little cute boy we met in the Pukulu community, Aputu. His name is Solomon. We said we'll stop calling him Aputu. His name is Solomon. So Solomon gave us that drive. Like we went. Solomon was among the children in the community. Most of them were all in school. Well, you know, we asked Solomon that, okay, are you in school? Solomon said, I not there school. Oh. Ah, we say why? He said, I not go school, I not get uniform. That's what he replied. And immediately he told us, Mona carry me go school, I won't go school.
Oh my God.
That was enough motivation for us. And immediately they resumed school. We went back to the community, we enrolled him into school. In fact, you need to see, you know, when you're welcoming like a governor in a state, like maybe for a conference or something, that was how the school students were welcoming Solomon in school. Like people were just screaming, shouting. The boy was really popular. And you know, that alone is enough fulfillment for Carehub, sincerely. That was our first pickup. Then secondly, we went further. There was a particular student we discovered when we went for our Christmas party in December. We discovered the child. The teacher came to us and said, this child has been in primary 6 for 2 years. And I was like, why? This child is one of their best students. And he has been in primary 6 for 2 years. And I asked that, why is this child in primary 6 for good 2 years? The teacher said that the parents cannot afford. So what they did was, you know, the child will have old textbooks and all that. So that's what he used for the new year. And I said, no, this child, as intelligent as he is. And immediately, when school resumed, we enrolled him into a new class, that's JS1. We paid for every single thing. We met with his dad. The dad was like, okay, that's please, he doesn't really have, he has so many children, and he just appreciated us. And guess what? The child he's going to JS3 now.
My God.
Like from JS1, it's going to JS3 now. Like
wow.
that's amazing. So after that, we now proceeded to different enrollments. Then we now went into psychosocial support, because it's not just enrolling the children, their mental health, their character formation, and all that is also very important. So that's Carehub, really. That's Carehub. Then we do, you know, now we do our spelling bee just to motivate the kids. And we also have like a Christmas party for the kids. Then we do like a Grow With Me project, which is a psychosocial support project for the children. So thank you.
That's a lot of work, and the stories that you just shared, I almost shed a tear right now. The story of the boy who he really wanted to go to school but didn't have the opportunity.
Yes.
That he was a small celeb in his own town.
A serious celebrity, serious one.
At his little age, he's a celeb already. That's so amazing. Like his self-esteem and confidence is so like it's on a different level.
Yes. That's also the basic thing we discovered. Like his confidence level is next to him.
Yeah.
Like it's so high. Yeah.
That's so wonderful. So still talking about Carehub, what are the specific programs? I've seen you guys do the spelling bee, and you just mentioned a few of the programs. Could you talk a little bit about some of the programs for people who do not really know about the programs?
Okay, so we have major 3 programs we run. Though we have other programs, like, okay, let me just start so that I cannot proceed to the Csr projects that we do too. Okay, so our major programs are spelling bee. We started the spelling bee program last year. Then back to school projects. The back to school project is identifying children that are not in school from remote communities, and we send them back to school. Then we also have the psychosocial support program, which is the Grow With Me project. So the Grow With Me program is more like I earlier explained, is more like the character of the child, the well-being of the child. We also do things like, you know those SMART goals, personal development, time management, all those things, all inclusive in the Grow With Me program. Then we now crown it all, like the finals in December, like more of a Christmas party. So what we do the Christmas party is, okay, we know that these children, they want to celebrate Christmas, so we buy them shoes, like sneakers, basically sneakers. We buy them sneakers, and we know now how kids love sneakers, so we buy them sneakers. So then we do like CSR projects for companies. Now, the CSR project is, you know how CSR works. Maybe a particular company, a particular location, they want you to do a CSR in that community where they have their company.
Yeah.
So for the CSR project, we've been able to do like a food support program. We distributed food. We also did like a teachers training for teachers in public school. So just a couple of CSR projects that we do for companies.
Wonderful. The fact that you added CSR to what you do makes it sort of different and helps you stand out in the non-profit industry in Nigeria, and that's great. I was looking through your LinkedIn profile a few days ago, and I saw where you wrote that you had worked with over 100 volunteers.
Yes.
And that is huge. Now, it's huge because you have to deal with so many people. And I've worked with volunteers a lot of times. Even at the moment, I have a group of volunteers that I'm working with, and they can be very difficult to handle. So my question is, how have you been able to manage and retain volunteers, as many as 100, for such a long period of time? Because there are so many organizations that find it difficult to, first of all, attract the volunteers and also keep them. They find that volunteers are always leaving. Life happens, yes, but then they don't get to stay long with them. So how have you been able to retain and manage volunteers?
Okay, in terms of volunteerism, like how I've been able to maintain volunteers, it's not the way we're saying it now. It's not as easy as it's not as easy as you're painting it. You know when you're dealing with different people like from different backgrounds. You need that leadership quality to really maintain people. And over time, like what I like for 2 years, okay, we registered 2018, 2019, we got some volunteers, 2020, the COVID. Then I think 2021, we got pretty good volunteers. Now, the thing is, in terms of maintaining volunteers, I discovered that you cannot really maintain them. Do you understand? Like, this year, you might have 100 volunteers. Next year, people will see what you're doing and they're interested in, especially people that have passion for what you're doing. People that have passion for what you're doing, it's very easy for them to align to what you're doing. But people that are just coming in, people have different ideologies about volunteerism. But for over the past 3 years that I've been working with volunteers, what I discovered is, number one, you have to be very patient with them. Number two, you come from a place of understanding. Now, the understanding doesn't make you a fool or you don't know what you're doing. You understand? It comes from a place of, okay, because I know that some volunteers literally complain and said, oh, I'm working for this organization and they don't care about us. They don't want to know what's up with us and all that. But what we tried to do, like last year, we said, okay, for us to bring the volunteers together, let's do like a volunteers conference. And we did a volunteers conference this year, January, we did like a volunteers conference. So then apart from that, we also did restructuring of our volunteers. So basically, at some point, you can get them in that number. At another point, you might just get them little. But all the same, what I try to do is that I try to make, like I told them, I said, it's not my NGO, it's our NGO. Do you understand? Like, I don't put it like it's my NGO. So I'll say, you're responsible for this job. You're responsible. Anything that happens to Carehub, they are going to hold you responsible. Yeah. I'm the founder, quite all right. But we are all responsible in making sure that the impact we want to create is created. So you must be very patient. You must be committed. You must really be a leader. You must really be a leader to be able to, volunteerism, man, it's not easy. I won't even lie to you. Yeah, like you know these things. It's not easy.
It's really difficult sometimes.
Sometimes I get so overwhelmed. Let me not even lie to you. Sometimes I get really overwhelmed. Sometimes I come back to my house and I'll cry. I don't know whether people do that.
People do that. I do that too.
Like, I would just be crying. I'm like, I'll be asking myself, I mean, what's going on with you? Like, I feel so bad, especially when you're dealing with people, some people that are not getting the picture. Do you understand? You need to just, you need to keep, over time, you need to keep telling them that this is our dream, this is our objective, this is what we want to achieve. Okay, this is the drive, you understand? So, really, it has just been
have to keep reminding them about the vision so that they
yes, just keep telling them this is a vision. Please, be ensure that you are in line with the vision. Please make sure you're in line. And funny enough, most of these volunteers, they are watching you as a leader. Do you understand? They are watching you as a leader. So if you feel like you are the leader and you can do whatever you like, it's going to affect the people that's volunteering for you. Yes. So they watch you. So sometimes they'll just cut you up. Like, I remember there was one of our projects. We didn't have so much volunteers. And immediately after the project, people started chatting me up. Oh, ma'am, I'm so sorry, I was not available. Ma'am, I'm so sorry, I was not so dead. They want to see, they just want to see the success story of the project you're doing. So once they see the success story, they feel left out. You understand? But at that point, I don't send them away. I feel like I always know that they have something to offer. So that's it, Stella.
Wonderful, wonderful. Okay, what are the challenges? Let's move to the difficult side now. What are the challenges you face running your organization? Are there any limitations apart from funding, apparently? So anytime I'm having this session, I always tell non-profit leaders, please don't say funding, because everybody knows that every organization needs money, and
that's one of the major problems.
Exactly, that's the major one. So apart from that, are there other challenges you face running your organization?
Yes, like in terms of sometimes you face challenges with the community you're trying to reach out to.
True.
Do you understand? So, and I'm grateful that I'm working with the River State community, because this is where I was born and bred up, you know. And, you know, sometimes you go to some communities, they try to give you difficult times, like with respect to, you want to come and implement a project, and they're also taxing you that want to come and implement.
You must pay them before they give you room to come and help them.
Yeah, so it's a big challenge, especially when you want to really go outskirts of your zone. You want to go out, and another thing again, security issues too. Like, if you notice our project, if you know Port Harcourt very well, we've just been based within few communities that we can reach out to. Yes, we don't go outskirts of the few communities we're trying to reach out to because of security issues. I remember there was one time I wanted to go to Ogoni, and you know, my volunteers were like, they will not follow me. They say, Maole, you go to Ogoni, you're the only one that will go. You understand? So those are like security issues, community engagements. Most of the time, they don't give you the free hand to do what you want to do. You identify the problem, you want to implement the solution of the problem you identify, but they don't give you that free hand. They want you to come and I remember there was one program we went for. In the course of implementation of the program, some guys came to us and they were like, on a day our community, and I don't want to drop something. And you have to, because you can't leave, they can do anything. Your volunteers
just scatter everywhere.
Yeah, so you need to. So I just told some of the guys that please just help us talk to them. Though, yeah, sometimes you go to some communities, once you speak to the chairman understands, the chairman will communicate to those boys. But sometimes even the chairman itself is the person demanding for that money. So these are one of the challenges. Then, you know, in terms of, you know, volunteerism too, like for volunteers too, there are sometimes you want to do some projects and you don't get that number of volunteers that you want. You understand? And so capacity too. You know, you want to build capacity and you're being limited. Funding will always come in NGO space. Like me, I tell people that the way I raise funds, like I don't overstretch beyond what I can, how will I put the statement, like what I can do. You understand? Get funding, But sometimes, in fact, sometimes you will see funding. Like I used to tell that sometimes you will see that there are lots of funding, but capacity to execute is where the problem is. They understand capacity to execute. So some NGOs don't look at the capacity to execute. What they just look at is let me get funding. Let me get funding. And I was telling my friend recently, I said, trust me, the NGO space, there are lots of opportunities for you to, but you have that capacity to execute when you're being given this money
and guarantee the results.
So these are one of the issues. Like capacity building is an issue with some NGOs. I'm talking about myself too. You understand? So
okay, so what are your greatest achievements at this moment? I want you to blow your trumpet, because there are organizations that are doing stuff, but people do not know about it. And this is the reason why this Humanitarians of Africa project started. We want to be able to showcase to the world that there are humanitarians, people who have the heart to solve problems in Africa, really doing great work. So what are the successes, achievements that you have made so far that you would like to share with us? Exhaust the list.
Okay, I really want to talk about our major project, which is a back to school project. And like in River State, we've been able to reach out to almost 3,000 children, like directly, yes. Not in respect to educational materials, school uniforms. For the past 3 years, we've been able to, with the school uniforms, educational materials. Then for the back to school, we've done, I think, with the new ones we're enrolling, I think about 50 children back to school.
And you pay their school fees every
Yes. Pay, like for the government school, really, they don't do fees. Like they don't pay like, the school fees is 20,000. No, what they do is that you buy their school uniform, buy their textbooks, then you pay assessment fee, you pay exam fee. So then you also pay for their results compilation too. Like that's the assessment fee too. So for Carehub, sincerely speaking, in River State, we are really doing so much.
So that's a lot.
That's a lot. Like for the number of years we've operated is a lot for us, really. Then also, we started a spelling bee last year. And this year, the award for the spelling bee was overboard. Like the winner got a 250,000 naira.
Wow! Wow! Yes. That's a lot. Yes. Well done.
That's a whole lot. Then we also then with the psychosocial support program too. We've done for like 200 children for psychosocial support program.
Wow. Wow, that's
so Carehub really is doing a whole lot. Then for the Csr project, I can't even say it's a lot. Like it's a lot. It's a whole lot.
That's a whole lot of children. To take 50 children out of school children back to school.
Back to school is a lot. Trust me. Like you need to make sure they're in school. You need to pay for some other things. Like sometimes they might not be feeling fine. You take them to the hospital to be sure they are okay so that they can remain in school. So it's a lot for Carehub. And I'm grateful that we have people like minds that are really supporting Carehub. I'm really, really grateful. I'm grateful to God. People are really trying for Carehub. So
that's so great. Congratulations on this.
Thank you.
Achievement so far. It's a whole lot. Well done. So finally, before I let you go, how exactly can our viewers support you? Is there any specific project you want people to support you on? I know December is coming. Our Christmas party, as usual, is coming. I wish I was in Nigeria. I'll come and dance with you.
It's always fun.
I've never been to Port Harcourt, so that would actually be a great opportunity. But we'll see how that goes. So how can we support you? What are the programs you need support?
Okay, so now by September, we're enrolling some children back to school. And to enroll a child back to school is about 30,000 naira. So if you have a couple of people that can support us to send a child back to school, it will be really, really amazing. Because the most important thing about Carehub is identifying these kids that are not in school, taking them back to school. We all know that education is the bedrock of any economy or any nation. So it's very vital that these children are in school. So, like I said again, to enroll a child back to school is 30,000 naira. You know, you pay for the assessment fee, you buy their school uniforms for them to stay in school. You see, sometimes we still do like a food support for them. Like sometimes we buy them snacks and, you know. So our back to school project, we're starting in September. Then our Christmas project, where we give children sneakers, like for, you know, Christmas. Christmas is very important for these kids. So just to make them happy. So you can support in any of these projects, the back to school and the December Christmas projects. And Carehub will be very, very grateful.
Okay, that's so wonderful. So for those of you who are not Nigerians that are listening to us right now, it costs not up to $50. It's about $45 to send one child to school for a term. And to be able to do this consistently, that's a whole lot of work. So please, $45 can send one child to school. On your screen, you're going to be seeing the donation details, every contact information that you need. Also in the description box, if you cannot reach out to them, feel free to shoot me an email and I will connect you to Funmi so that you can support as much as you can. Also, we need volunteers. You forgot to mention that.
I can no. Like when you just said it, I said this particular one, we need professional volunteers. Like we need professional volunteers. I'm also pleading, like we need professional volunteers. I know some persons do not know how to go about it. But if you have expertise, especially in vital fields that we need, like a project management, we need volunteers in project management, really, we do. We need volunteers from M&E, like monitoring and evaluation sector. Yes, please, we need volunteers. We need, M&E, project management. Then we need volunteers for, we have the aspect of business development for Carehub. We also need volunteers because for we to maintain Carehub, we need to get a lot of grants, a lot of funding. So like a business development manager for Carehub, so we need those set of volunteers.
Okay, perfect. So if you have any of these skills and you want to practice, you want to develop yourself, this is a very good opportunity for you to learn on the job and also give back to the community, to the society. So feel free to send them an email. Also check them out on their social media pages. They are doing a whole lot of work. So guys, thank you so much, Funmi. It was an amazing conversation we had here today.
Yeah, thank you, Hella.
Thank
you so much for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thank you. So everyone, if you haven't subscribed, make sure you subscribe, you share this to as many people as possible. Sharing can get the information to someone that can support Carehub. So please share with as many people as possible. Thank you, everyone, and see you in the next episode.